Hey guys, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Looking for the Middle,
The Christian Girl's Guide to Modern Dating.
We are just two single girls trying to figure out how to date well as Christian women. And we are on our 9th episode today.
Almost to 10.
So we are rolling.
Yeah.
It's great. So last time, y'all remember, we decided we were going to start this new question of the day thing, and it's Bethany's turn. I have no idea what she's going to ask, but I'm really excited about it because she got very excited when she found it.
I really like this one. And I love that we're doing this, too.
Me too.
I'm so excited. And I mean, we do this with our friends all the time. Like, if we go to dinner or we're hanging out, we make everybody put their cell phones in the middle of the table, and nobody has their phones, and then we play the question game, and everyone has to answer the question. So I love that we're doing this. It's like y'all are hanging out with us. Okay, are you ready for the question?
Oh gosh, yes, I think so.
Okay. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would you have a good chance of winning a gold medal at?
That's a great question. This is going to be so lame.
Ooh.
Okay.
The lamer,
it's
the better.
It's going to be so lame. But, filling out a planner, I would be very close.
You would be really good
to
at
the
that.
Gold. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah, I think you could take gold.
I hope so. Color coordination, sorting things by lists, and the sticky notes are placed in a certain place, and there are grids for each work, social, personal. I mean, the whole shebang. It is very detailed. I'm very proud of it. So
I think that's a good
that
one.
Would probably be it, as
Yeah.
nerdy as that is.
No, I like that. I think that's good. I feel like mine would kind of be along the same lines of planning things.
Events. Or parties.
Planning parties is more my niche when it comes to, actual planning. But, filling out forms, organizing people, getting people where they need to go. I think what we just found out about ourselves is that we're both kind of bossy.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. That's what counseling's for, right? If you ever start counseling, that'll be, so I'm kind of bossy.
Yeah, issue number 1.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man. All right. Well.
Okay.
Now that you've learned a little bit more about us,
We'd
love to know what you guys would be taking the gold in an Olympic if something was an Olympic sport that's not already. So,
message us,
DM us, comment on Instagram.
We'll see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so today is part 2 of our look at survey results that we sent to a bunch of guys to find out what they think about dating. So we are going to kind of continue on from last week. Last week was more us talking to girls directly about the results, that what guys said of how they can improve or what you can do in light of how guys are viewing dating. So today it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to continue on with that a little bit more, but more towards the end, we are going to actually kind of give the guys some encouragement and a response a little bit from us as girls, just kind of encourage them that maybe some of their perceptions are a little bit off of what we actually think too.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of do both today and round out this survey stuff.
Yeah, and we've kind of previewed this a little bit before this episode released, hoping guys would be listening today, but if you have guy friends that don't know about this, we would love for you to send them this and send them the link and let them listen in hopes that this will be encouraging to them and helpful, and
yeah, I think encouraging is the
key point there.
The key thing we want to get across for sure.
So some of the questions we asked that we wanted to talk about today were more short answer questions. So last week we kind of talked more of the questions that had hard facts, hard statistics that came with them. We gave certain responses that the guys could pick from. This we gave the guys a little more freedom for them to list what was attractive to them, what was unattractive to them, and what scared them about asking girls out, or why they may not want to ask somebody out. So we kind of want to jump into that a little bit.
And we did put the questions that were short answer, asking for them to respond. We listed those in the survey ahead of the corresponding list question where they would pick from a list of things we wanted to know about. So that wasn't in their head and it didn't influence what they said. So we made sure to put those before the others so we could get a true, candid picture of what they were really thinking.
And two, if it's helpful, we can actually put the questions we asked in the order we asked them in our blog post for this episode on the website. just so you guys have a little bit of context of what order it went in and what the actual questions were.
Yeah.
So if you're that interested,
If you care,
you can go look at those.
If you heard the beginning of the episode, obviously we both really enjoy the order questions come in and exactly all of the details. But if you're not, it's fine. Stay tuned. We'll get into it.
Yes. So, Bethany, let's talk a little bit about like what were some of the most common or like trending answers in the short answer questions that the guys gave as far as like what was attracted to them, like what were things they looked for in a girl that they want to date.
There were several trends, I think. One of them was a lot of guys said they were looking for a girl who was active and adventurous. A lot said they were looking for a girl who's outgoing and fun, understanding, kind.
I thought that was really sweet.
I know, me too. Those three little groups of things were really what were at the top. They all scored really high in what guys are looking for.
Yeah. And one guy said, I laughed at this. Not laughed at his answer, but he said, I look for a girl that's active, likes to work out, go hiking, that sort of thing. Y'all know how I feel about hiking, okay? So I'm like reading, I'm like, oh, this guy is so sweet, but he probably would not like me because hiking is my equivalent to hell on earth, personally.
If Kristen got a gold medal for organizing her planner, she wouldn't even get a dirt medal for hiking.
No.
Dirt and hiking.
No.
I didn't even mean to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
With the dad jokes.
Sorry. I didn't even mean to.
You can
That's
just
how much
stop
she
now.
hates hiking. It's what I was trying
I
to
do
say.
hate hiking. But all of that to say, I mean, that's okay. You don't have to like everything the person you like
No.
likes. That's a saying like a lot of times. But you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have every single thing in common. You don't have to
No.
have all the same hobbies. It's okay.
Be who you are. And we talked about this last week, is, be who God created you to be. Don't change that for what you think a guy's looking for. So like in this guy said he loves hiking. The right response would not be for Kristen to decide, oh, well, I should probably learn to like hiking so that this guy will like me. That's not what you're going for. I mean, trust me, I'm up there. I do not like hiking. I don't like camping. I'm not an outdoorsy person. And I actually put that in an online dating profile one time because every person on there was like super into like hiking and kayaking and camping, and that is not me. It's not a deal breaker, but I literally had in my online dating profile, I think I'm the only person on here who's not that. That's fine. If you like those things, more power to you. Just don't expect me to go with you all the time, and I won't expect you to help me with my latest Pinterest crazy project.
And go to Hobby Lobby with you.
Exactly. I don't expect that. Like, that's okay to have those separate things. And I actually met a guy and went out with him who said that was the thing that instantly drew him to me, was because he knew I was being honest about who I was. He loved those things. We did not have that in common, but my honesty and being who I was said something to him. So don't change who you are just for a guy.
No, not at all. So then on the other hand, what were some of the things that guys said were deterring or like things that would keep them from pursuing a girl?
I kind of thought I had guys figured out a little on what they would say as far as what was like the annoying things that made you not ask someone out, but the top one blew that out of the water, didn't see it coming, had no idea. Like, did you see?
No, not at all.
So the number one thing that guys put as the number one reason they don't want to ask a girl out or won't ask her out is smoking.
That is so fascinating to me.
That is way up there for me.
Oh, for sure.
I don't care how good looking a guy is. I don't care if he's got everything going for him. Coolest guy ever. If he lights up a cigarette, there is instantly zero attraction for me.
No.
I mean, that's my preference. It's me.
Also, cigarette smoke gives me a headache. So that
Yeah,
would
me
be a
too.
problem.
It's a big deal to me, but I still don't think I would have put that in an answer to a question like this. So that was really surprising how many guys said that. Some of the others were, I think, more what we expected: clingy, negative, not funny, or boring.
That one was a big one.
Yes, guys like to laugh.
Yeah.
At girls, with the girl they're dating, whatever.
That's up for debate. We can figure that out.
There's a fine line there, I think.
Yeah. And one thing that we noticed as we were kind of looking through these short answer questions was that nobody mentioned anything about sense of style or like how a girl dressed in any of the short answer as far as what they were looking for or what was deterring. But that was one of the things we put in the multiple, like, or the ranking questions, I guess, and like rank these 1 through 5 as either, most attractive or most deterring. And we put that because we thought that was important to guys. But the more we looked at these,
I think we were wrong.
yeah, statistics. So 39% of guys said that a sense of style was the least deterring thing
Like
of
if
the
you had a
5
bad
things we gave
style,
them.
Or,
Yes, lack of sense of style.
yeah,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, that was their least of their concerns compared to the other things we gave them. And then 46% of guys said that that was the least of their concern when they were looking for somebody to date, too. So, like,
Yeah.
of the 5 attractive qualities we gave them, intelligence, sense of humor, shared interest, and confidence were all more important than her sense of style, which I just thought was really
Yeah, it was
cool.
really cool.
Like, I really liked
yeah,
to
and
see
I mean,
that.
sure, you want to be attracted to your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And we'll talk about chemistry and attraction next week, actually. Like, we have a whole episode on that. So we'll get into more of that later. But it kind of made me realize I think a lot of the pressure we put on ourselves to look a certain way or dress a certain way or just how you present yourself, that can be more, I think, because we've fallen into this comparison trap of comparing ourselves to other girls. Because I think across the board, girls struggle with that for the most part.
Oh, for
in
sure.
some area or another. It's comparing yourselves to other women. And so we put that pressure on ourselves, I think, in a very disproportionate way to a lot of guys actually think, or at least guys that you would want to want you. Like, they don't think about that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't any shallow guys out there, but it didn't come up at all in this.
No, and I think what's important here to remember is that the guys you surround yourself with are going to affect your perception of men in general. That's something that kind of hit me here recently is, like, I used to hang out with some guys who were super shallow and they were very focused on appearance and always worried about what a girl looked and how she
Yeah.
dressed and, you know, how much makeup she wore, whatever. And that was kind of my perception of guys, whereas
Yeah.
now I feel like I've got a good group of guys around me that aren't that way, that are looking for more substantial things and more character qualities, and that has totally shifted how I think about men. And I think that this survey has kind of helped in that way too, a little bit, and
Yeah,
just
and I mean,
reading some of these responses.
It's like the verse, bad company corrupts good character. And it's the same thing here. If you're only ever around shallow, looks-driven men, that's going to color how you see all men in that same way that being around someone of low character would pull your character down. It's going to have an effect on that. And so you want to surround yourself with men who are not as focused on that, who have these ideas that looks and style and all of those other things are secondary to a woman's character.
Absolutely. I know, for example, a few weeks ago, I went to a comedy show with some friends, and a couple of my guy friends were in the car, and they were both talking about how they didn't usually like girls that wore a ton of makeup, which was interesting to me because I, you know, had heard from some of my other guy friends in the past that, like, oh, they like when a girl wears a lot of makeup. Like, they don't want a girl to go out if she's not wearing any makeup. And so it was just a really good reminder that you don't have to be a certain kind of pretty to be found attractive by somebody. I think girls can get so caught up in, like, here is the standard of, like, I need to look like Blake Lively if people are going to be attracted to me. And that's just not the case. Like,
Right.
every guy has different preferences and every guy is attracted to different things. So it basically is boiling down to, like, who do you want to be attractive to? What kind of guy do you want to want you?
Yeah.
You know?
Like you said, there's not a standard of beauty out there of what every guy's going to find attractive. There is a standard, though. And that standard is God's word. And so you need to be in the word regularly and have that be where you get your ideas of who you are, what you should be about. And if guys aren't reinforcing that, the guys you're around are not in line with that, or are not seeing you as Christ sees you, then you need to distance yourself from them. Point blank. Like, you don't need to be around that because that's not right. That's not healthy. And so distance there is really important, I think. Because like we said last week, your identity is not in what some guy thinks of you. That shouldn't affect who you are, or like we said, change who you are. It's how some guy perceives you. Your identity is in Christ. And when he taught, like, the fruits of the Spirit are not physical outward things. Love, joy, peace, patience. Those are the things guys should be looking for in you. Those are the qualities they should be seeing in you, though. You should be living your life in a way that makes those evident, not to attract a guy, but because it's what's right. It's being obedient to the Lord and his word, and that's where you need to be rooted in your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about too, I know the Proverbs 31 woman is often used as like a standard for being a godly woman. And Proverbs 31:25 says that the first part of the verse says she is clothed in strength and dignity. And I actually have a big sign of that part of the verse in my bathroom. And I hung it there as a reminder that me being clothed in strength and dignity is way more important than whatever I'm clothing myself in when I'm getting ready in the morning.
Such a good reminder.
And I think that's something that we need to remind ourselves of daily, because messages we're getting from the world are not, hey, clothe yourself in strength and dignity. It's clothe yourself in this kind of makeup and these kind of clothes and do your hair like this and wear these shoes. And, you know, that's what's going to make you attractive.
Because in that mentality, the end-all, be-all is attracting a guy. That is the ultimate. That's not our ultimate goal. I love the verses in 1 Peter 3 where it says, your beauty should not come from outward adornment such as braided hair or gold jewelry or fine clothes, but from the inner disposition of your heart, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in God's sight. That's what we should be about. There's nothing about that that is about drawing attention to yourself. There's nothing about that that is elevating yourself to being the most important thing or making a guy notice you. You want a guy to be attracted to you first and foremost because he sees Christ in you, not what you look like. And so I think we want to keep that as the preeminent goal. Like you said, every time you leave your bathroom, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about, oh, is that cute guy in the office down the hall going to notice my shoes? Is he going to notice my hair, my makeup, whatever it is? Or are you thinking, I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus today and however he wants me to be? Those are two very different things, and they speak to two very different goals in your life. But I think it's so important to daily think about that, because it's so easy to get distracted by the tons of messages that we're bombarded with every single day.
That's good. That's really good. But now if we circle back to dating and that topic, and there was one other question that we asked that there was a very popular trend in the answer.
Well, I mean, it was almost unanimous.
It was, and this was another short answer question, which makes it even more of a big deal. But we asked guys, you know, what is the main reason, like, you wouldn't ask a girl out? So
what's holding
you back? And so we asked them this in a, again, short answer form, and then we asked them, like, if these are the 5 things you have to consider. So, but as far as the short answer goes, fear of rejection was the top answer,
followed very closely by afraid to mess up a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those were, and I mean, lots of people put both of those.
Yeah. Which are both very valid
very
concerns.
Valid.
I'm not saying they're not valid at all.
No. And I get it. I do. But
I mean, I'm personally glad I'm the girl when it comes to stuff like
me
that.
Me too. I know. I think we definitely got the better end of the deal on that one. And we don't take for granted that there is a risk involved. There is some uncertainty there.
Yeah.
But
I totally agree. But that's the word.
Yes.
You've got to take a risk for something that...
Do it anyway.
Yeah. It could be really worth it. You have no clue unless you try. Like, you've got to be willing. If you really want to see if something would work out with this girl, if you really do like her, if you're really interested in her, you've got to risk that rejection. You've got to risk maybe making that friendship awkward a little bit. It's so scary. Like, I get it as much as I can. But you've just got to bite the bullet and do it anyway if it's really worth it to you. And I think it is.
And regardless of the outcome, I think in the end, the certainty and clarity of knowing one way or the other is better than not.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the outcome you wanted, neither of you is hung up on what if or
No.
maybe or
Because
what
who
could
wants
have
to live
been.
the rest of your life wondering that?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and I am not a risk-taking person at all. I am the safest, most cautious, calculated person. But
I think I am too, and so I think I can
relate to
appreciate
that.
what goes into it more because yeah, it's not a little thing. So we're
No.
not trying to discount that
No.
and just say, oh, just do it anyway.
No.
Like at all. We're not trying to minimize the risk. We're not trying to minimize that it is a scary thing sometimes.
Yeah, but there have definitely been things in my life when I have taken the risk that I'm so glad I did. Like you said, whether or not it turned out the way I wanted to, I at least know. And I think there's a lot of peace that comes with that.
Yeah.
I mean, just being frank with you guys, honestly, if you like a girl, she's probably already got a pretty good idea that you do.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're pretty intuitive for the
Yeah.
most part.
We do know most of the time. And I feel like if you've been flirting with a girl or you're trying to gauge that interest and she hasn't run the other direction,
Good
like
point.
I know for me, if a guy's like flirting with me or like interested or like hanging around a lot and I am not interested at all, I remove myself from being around him because I don't want to give any sort of encouragement that there could be something there. So if you're doing that, if you're flirting with a girl or you're interested or you're around her all of the time and she's staying there, she's staying around, she's engaging, I would say odds are really good if you ask that girl out, she would say yes.
Oh, definitely. That's it. I never really thought about it that way,
Yeah.
but you're so right. Because, yeah, if I am not interested, I will just, like, I won't hang around him
Yeah.
anymore. I won't go to things he goes to. I'll just kind of,
Because it's really awkward for a guy to ask a girl out. It is. It can be really awkward. But saying no to a guy asking you out is also very awkward. So if we know that that might be coming, we will remove ourselves from the situation to avoid that awkwardness for everyone.
oh, definitely. But the encouraging thing is, so I think we've mentioned this, we sent out a survey to girls too.
Yes.
We asked them the same questions, but we had them answer it like as in what they think a guy would say. But then we did ask them a couple just girl specific questions at the end. And one of them was, how many times have you said no to a first date? And almost half, it was like 44% of the girls we surveyed said they'd either only done it or only rejected a guy for a first date one time or they never had. So almost half. So I
Yeah.
think that there's a little bit of a misconception there that guys think there's a higher chance that a girl's going to say no to a first date when in reality, the odds are pretty good.
Yes.
Especially like you said, if they have not just started avoiding them
Yeah.
or anything like that.
And two, just as a matter of courtesy, a girl would much rather hear that you are interested or that you like her from you, not anyone else.
Heck yeah.
Like, you don't want to find this out second, third hand and then not really know what's going on.
No. I've been in that situation
And
before.
I feel like
It's not fun.
it's not, but it's also, I mean, if you're listening and you're in high school, then it's probably par for the course for you. But I've been out of high school quite a while now. And you have too. I
Yes.
mean, I'm not going to admit how long.
Yeah, no, you
But
no.
it's been a while. And see, that's not really an adult way of handling it.
No, not at all. I mean, if a guy likes me, I want to hear it from him because then I'm wondering, like, okay, if you like me and you're willing to tell other people, but you're not willing to tell me, that's not looking too good for you there, bud. Like, it's just really not.
Yeah. Yeah. So be straightforward, be clear.
honest.
Just as much as you want that from girls when they're communicating with you, in this instance, it's the same thing. Be clear, be straightforward, and if you like a girl, tell her.
Yeah, and going back to the whole, like, worried about ruining a friendship thing, again, very valid concern. But I feel like if you are two mature adults here, like, you can find a way to move past this, even if there is an awkward conversation, even if there's a first date and it doesn't continue past that,
Yeah.
or a few dates. Like, I think there's something to say about being just a mature, Christ-following adult where you can kind of get over those things.
Yes.
And I don't think that while it is a concern, I don't think it should be a paralyzing concern
No.
to keep you from moving forward if you're interested in pursuing this girl. And girls, if you don't think that you could continue a friendship with a guy after having a conversation or going out with him once or twice, then that, in my mind at least, makes me think you've built up this relationship in your mind into way more than what it is in reality.
And that's on you.
Yeah, like you have magnified this into a situation that is just very different than what's in front of you. And that's something that you've got to rein in on your own. That's, you can't put that on the guy. You can't say, oh, he asked me out and he ruined the friendship. Like, that's something you've got to work through.
An unrealistic expectation of what a first date should be, which we talked about way back at the beginning of the season. It's not a marriage proposal. It's not anything more than a first date, sit down, let's get to know each other and see where this could go. And if in your mind after doing that a couple of times you could just never see the guy again, I think you've gone too far in what you are expecting out of this date. You're leaning more towards it being more of a commitment than it really is. That doesn't give guys license to just ask girls out, never intending for it to be more than a first date. There should be something there that you want to build on and see where it could go. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And you need to both be mature enough to say, that's okay. We can still be in the same circles. We can still be in the same social groups and function as adults.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot as far as like what guys think, what girls think, but I think it boils down to two main things that would cause a lot more clear communication, that would help ease some of these fears, and it comes down to this: girls, be gracious, but guys, be courageous.
That's tweetable. Like, that is...
Well, if I can figure out how to use Twitter, I'll put it on
there.
There
We go.
But like I said in that verse we talked about earlier from 1 Peter, that your beauty is of a gentle and quiet spirit. If you're not exhibiting a gentle and quiet spirit in all of your life, what reason does a guy have to think that if he comes and asks you out, you're going to be gentle and kind, even if you say no? He doesn't have any reason to think that. And why would he then want to pursue that with you when you were going to stomp his heart to pieces? So be gracious. And that gentle, quiet spirit is not talking about sitting still and quiet all the time, which is good because the two of us are not that.
No, not
at all.
Mm-mm.
But it talks about gentle, like in the Greek that means meek and humble. It's an attitude of the heart. And quiet, meaning well-ordered, at rest, tranquil. So those are the things in your spirit that should be flowing out into how you daily live your life. And that is the mentality you should have when it comes to dating as well. Be gracious, be kind, acknowledge the risk that is involved when you're forging this new possible relationship, and realize that a lot of that falls on the guy. So you need to be gracious. He's not going to be perfect. He's not going to say everything right. But you can do a lot to help him be confident. Even if it doesn't work out for the two of you, the next girl he dates will benefit from your gentle and quiet spirit.
That's good.
But at the same time, guys, if you like a girl, the likelihood of her saying no to a first date is not nearly as high as you probably think it is. So if you like her, or even if you're just interested in her, if you just want to get to know her better, you don't have to be head over heels in love with some girl to ask her to go to coffee. So if you like her, if you want to get to know her, if there's something there, be courageous, step up, and ask her to go do that clearly and bravely.
Yeah, I mean, we even asked the girls on their survey, like, what would be the reasons if you did turn a guy down? Like, why would you turn him down? And the majority of the reasons were either he's unemployed, or he's not, if he is unemployed, he's not looking to be employed, or he's creepy. That was basically the gist of it.
It's a pretty low bar, guys.
Yeah.
If a guy is seeking Christ and you see that in his daily life, that is the number one thing. Both sides are going to have to look past quirks. They're going to have to look past annoying habits. They're going to have to look past things that aren't their type. Because no one will be perfectly your type, ever. It's just not going to happen. And so you've got to be able to look past that. And guys, yeah, as long as you're not creepy and you have a decent work ethic, you're good.
Yeah. You've got a better shot than you probably think you do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way, okay? I know girls are kind of, not all girls, some girls are kind of emotional in the way we think. We realize guys are a little more rational, analytical. So I'm going to try to come meet you where you are, okay? So let's think of this like an odds game, or like if you made a pros and cons list. if the pros outweigh the cons, okay, or like you've got a 50% chance here, like 50-50 odds or higher, like that you would ask her out, just ask her out. Like if you're under 50 where like the cons are a little heavier than the pros, okay, like I get it if you don't want to ask her out. But if you're either in the middle or higher than the middle, like just go for it. I mean, it's not going to kill you. It's really probably going to be okay. Worst case scenario, either you ask her out and she says no, and you move on, or you ask her out, she says yes, and it works out or it doesn't. But you are never going to know unless you try. And I know that's so cheesy and probably the end of every Disney movie ever, but I really do believe it would be worth the risk if you would just take that step and, like Bethany said, be courageous. And girls appreciate that, and they like that, and they're going to respect that regardless of whether you end up with them or not. And I think that's something you need to remember too.
Yeah. Well, and I know for me, a guy who maybe I hadn't considered as someone I was interested in or thought about them in that way before, if he steps up and says, hey, I'm interested in you and I want to take you to dinner, 9.9 times out of 10, his attractiveness to me will go up pretty dramatically.
Because he's showing that he's assertive and he's
Yes.
going after what he wants and he's confident and, you know, he was willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
Like those are all things girls look for. And those are
Yes.
things you're portraying when you get up the gumption to make that move.
Yeah. So just the act of asking a girl out is in your favor when it comes to whether or not she'll say yes.
Definitely.
I mean, she could have never thought of you in that way before, but if you ask her, suddenly there's, oh, okay. Like, it changes things,
Yeah.
for me at least.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all we've got for today. We only have 2 episodes left this season, which is
so crazy
to me. This has felt like it's just flown by, but we are having so much fun, and we hope you guys are too. So stay tuned for next week, where we're going to be talking about chemistry and how important it is. Or is it?
Yeah.
Bethany and I actually have some, like, I think we haven't totally...
We diverged a little bit here on some things.
On a few things. So make it a little feisty next week. You never know.
We'll be nice, don't worry.
We'll be nice, but it's going to be great. So be sure
Yeah.
you join us for that. And like we said, go reach out to us on social media. If you're from some random place other than Georgia, we'd love to hear from you because we love hearing from all of our listeners all over the place.
Yes.
So say hi. Or if you're from Georgia and you want to say hi too,
That's true. We're not
that's
hating on
fine.
Georgia people.
Yeah, no, we love our Georgia people.
Okay, so if you guys are out there trick-or-treating, have fun, stay safe, or if you're like me and you'd much rather be at home watching a Christmas movie already because Christmas season totally starts at Halloween, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm kind of on the Walmart schedule of
Christmas was out in Walmart
so-
in September.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of start celebrating and getting ready for Christmas. So
Bethany
you're like
may or
me-
may not already have her Christmas tree up.
I don't. Partly because I just got back in the country 2 days ago, but that's fine. It'll take a couple days to get over the jet lag, then the tree will go up. Why am I saying all of this? You don't need to know this about me. Okay, for real though, we will talk to you next week. Y'all be safe, have fun, and
Until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Bethany.
And this is Looking for the Middle.